So our attendees are slowly growing as we get closer to the 12 o'clock hour. Thank you to the few of you who've been enjoying our banter as we get started. I think that this is always kind of the fun part when you get to drop in a little early to these talks, because even though you might not get the full experience, it's nice to just catch people being themselves and entertaining themselves while we nervously wait for things to start, right? Let's everyone relax just a little bit. I think one of the good things that has happened because of COVID is that we have earned a little bit more humanity in our lives. We can see people more as human in their houses with their mess and their dogs and their children, and just, you know, what people are like every day. It kind of breaks down a lot of those preconceptions that we have about artists and academics and, you know, different professionals, that we are all people. That's what I've kind of taken out of this last year as a bonus anyway, if we can think about positive things from COVID. So I want to welcome everyone to the very first event of This Time Tomorrow 2021. We missed you all last year. This year, Drew has put on a really wonderful feat in bringing artists together for this sized down but really impactful performance festival. And our presentation today, our talk today for the Goethe Institute is the very first activity for that. So thank you so much for joining us. My name is Shawnee Turner. I work here in education. I'm the interpretive learning director. And I'm just going to host today, introduce everyone, and let Lorena and Raquel kind of, you know, walk you through some experiences and just a wonderful artist conversation between two great people. Before we do introductions though, I'm curious, Lorena and Raquel, what was your take on Goethe?
I can show you mine really quickly. So I didn't make Goethe, but I got riguas, which is like this like corn patty made in El Salvador. You usually pick corn, fresh corn. I did this with my father. Like I've gone to his partner's farm and picked the corn, we milled it, and you mix it with cheese. And I have some photographs of it that I can share later. But then like you cook it with the banana leaves, and I don't know, it looks just like a corn patty. Wow. And I found this like really beautiful cheese that is queso fresco from El Salvador and Django Gems that is amazing, and then some sour cream from El Salvador. Yeah, so this is my take for today for Goethe. What about you, Raquel?
I have my Goethe is cheese from this, like it's biological cheese that is from here, the farm where I'm doing residency. It's very nice, and like in Portugal, the cheese is very, very good. And they offer me this cheese when I arrived here, and I thought I should share with Lorena today. And I have a nice drink, a nice beer to drink with you. It's like publicity, but this is very typical, like yeah, it's like very Portuguese beer, very nice. And here we are 5 p.m. as I told you, so it's the perfect hour to drink a beer.
Yeah. And I also got a beer too, because I remember, I forgot about this, but the first time we met, I brought beer to my studio because I usually offer coffee or tea, but I have never been to my studio. So I brought this Reinges beer, which is like a Cincinnati based beers, and this bubbles is like super sweet. It's like, I'm not gonna pretend that I don't like my beer to be easy. So, so I brought it to reminisce of the first time we met 2 years ago.
Yes, my first memory of Lorena was arriving to her studio, and she was with her backpack, and she opened it and she had 6 beers. Like, it's the first time here we should drink. And the studio have a beautiful window with a beautiful view. and we stayed there talking for, it was our first meeting, drinking that beer in that empty atelier. It was her first day there.
It was funny because it was Drew had driven Raquel, and they were like, I think we're in the wrong building. And I'm like, does it look like an abandoned business space? And Drew was like, yeah, well, that's my studio space. Like,
that's a really wonderful.
And I was walking in the building looking for Lorena, and it seems that everyone disappeared. It was completely empty, with like some glasses broken, and I was like, ooh, it's here. And then she appeared with the beers.
That sounds like a meeting I really am sorry I missed. I hate to interrupt that because it was a really great conversation, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, the Carol Ann and Ralphie Hale Jr. Foundation, as well as other sponsors for the TTT. We wouldn't be able to do the wonderful things we do and engage with the great artists like we have today without you. I encourage everyone to check out the CAC website and the Facebook event pages for us for all of the great performances that are taking place over the next few days, as well as the Goethe Institut links. Just a quick thing about the name, in case you don't know, Goethe is a German kind of sausage that is really well known here in Cincinnati. It's kind of a mixture of different meats. And it's just a fun play on the Goethe-Institut, which is one of our sponsors. So just wanted to kind of let everyone know that. Just so you know how things are going to kind of work today, I'm going to take myself out of this conversation, just so you can focus on Lorena and Raquel, and just kind of be sitting here with my video off. I would love it if our audience would put questions into the Q&A. About 1:45, I'm going to pop back onto the screen and moderate those questions. So with that said, I'm going to kind of take my leave and let Lorena and Raquel begin. I'm going to give a quick introduction though. Lorena Molina is a Salvadorian multidisciplinary artist and educator. She is an assistant professor of art at the University of Cincinnati. Through the use of photography, video, performance, and installation art, she explores identity, intimacy, pain, and how we witness the pain of others. Raquel André is a collector, performer, and creator. Currently a PhD student at the Center for Theater Studies at Faculdade de Letras in the University of Lisbon, master by the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro in the Performing Arts, with research on collecting in the performing arts. In 2011, she emigrated to Rio de Janeiro, where she lived for 7 years. And one day she asked a stranger to go to his house to photograph them together as if she were part of his intimate circle, thus starting the collection of people, a collection of 4 projects designed over 10 years. Lovers, collectors, artists, and spectators. And some of you might remember her exhibition here at the CAC. All of her projects are focused on interacting and meeting the local communities. From one-on-one meetings, Raquel makes shows, performances, conferences, books, and exhibitions to create an archive of the ephemeral. All right, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you so much, honey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Such a wonderful introduction. Well, Raquel, I wanted to sort of touch back to the day that we met, because I think it relates to like your time in Cincinnati and working with local communities. And at the time you were showing your work of collection of lovers at the CAC, and then you were working on your collection of artists. And I've heard from Drew that like he showed you a buffet of like Cincinnati-based artists, and like you chose like Mark DeYoung and me, and this is the reason why we met, because you were collecting artists and you were like asking, asked to invite you into your studio and to sort of give you something about a practice that you can take, that you can collect and show in your work. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that project and how it relates to this project that you're working on right now.
Yes. So I have this project umbrella project is collection of people. So I had the collection of lovers that I present in Cincinnati. I did the exhibition and I performed a performance, a theater show. And in that time, I was starting my research for the collection of artists. So I did an artistic residency there in the CSE. And where in that moment, I met you and Mark de Jong to collect you. It's always strange to say to collect. But for me, a collection or to collect someone, it's the moment where I met someone. And then I write the story of that meeting for a theater exhibition or for exhibition or for a book. So for me, collecting someone is this moment of meeting. For me, it had been like an excuse to meet people, to meet different people with different stories. So I met you and Mark de Jong in Cincinnati. And in that moment, I asked you, both of you, and I collect and until now 18 artists. So I met with 18 different artists, and I asked them for a moment of a creation in their lives that they already created, and if they could transmit it, that frame, that creation for me. So that process of transmission is in that. For me, it's the moment where I can meet someone through something. And with the artists, I ask that fragment. Mm-hmm. So it was that. I don't know if you want to share your work that we talked.
I can share really quickly what I did, and then like maybe you can talk about
yes.
So when we first met, you looked at through my work, and I was showing you all this work that I just created that was new, and you were really struck by this piece. And I made this piece when I lived in Utica, and cornfields like have always connected El Salvador to Central New York to the Midwest, and during this time I was feeling this like deep displacement because I had moved to the rural New York, Central New York, and I was away from like networks. And in this performance, I go into this cornfield because it's connecting me to all these places I have lived and loved. And I'm making this I'm trying to make a house made out of dirt, but like the dirt has been overworked because a lot of farmers rent the space, and it was really crumbly and unstable. So I keep trying for like 10 minutes. I keep trying to make this house out of dirt, but every house that I built down like sort of crumbles down. And I think like you connected to this piece because you had also moved around a lot, and you talked a lot about what does it mean to like move homes, to like build a new home in a new place. So like my gift to you, as my gift to collection, it was like this sort of gesture, like of this like attempting to build this home as a way for you to continue this ritual or this wishful thinking. And then you did it on the stage, and it was really awesome to see it. I'll stop sharing because I don't have here what you did, but maybe you have it.
Yes, yeah. I can share a picture that I have. Yeah. So here this is a picture of the performance, the theater show Alive. And before this, I present Lorena and Molina. I do a brief presentation of your work, and that you are a visual artist, where you come from, where you are as an artist in the moment that we met, of course. Mm. And for me, it was a beautiful gift. And in the on stage, I got this question that came from you, that is, what is to have a land? What it means to have a land? Because the people say, my land is, I was born in this land. So I got this question so for me, it's like to receive this question and to put it to the audience. Mm-hmm. What is to have a land? And then I go to this dirt on stage. Of course, the big difference is because you did a visual, a video. And here I do it alive, and I just have like not all stage with dirt, it's just a little amount of dirt. And I do a circle because for me it was like something ritual to do it in that movement on stage. And it was my experience doing it that I recognized that I needed to do this circle for perform this moment. And it's very beautiful for me to do it. Of course, during the research of building this, to create this collection of artists, I have a lot of doubts, of course, because I never, when I talk about some artists, and I don't show where it came from, the frame. So the people got curious. A lot of people at the end of the show ask me, who is Lorena Molina? Who is Mark de Jong? And maybe they Google it. So I think it's nice. And because it's not, of course, it's not, I don't do the same. I don't reproduce the same because that it's impossible. But for me, it's what I receive and how I can transform it and to give it again to the spectators. It's like a translation.
Yeah, I was really moved to see your interpretation of it on stage. Like it has this sort of very minimalistic, sort of stark contrast between like the white background and the darkness of the dirt, and just like seeing this ritual recreated, and how like, you know, this placement feels like a very lonely experience. Like it feels like it's in a way like, you know, like you feel isolated in this experience, but something about like sharing it with you sort of, I don't know, it keeps like this ritual living on and it keeps being shared with different people. And I don't know, I value a lot of that moment when we first met, and I'm excited to be here.
Yes, it was supposed to present the show in Cincinnati last year but because of this crazy moment, we can't travel. But I hope one day to present it to you, to Mark de Jong, to all the artists that I met. It will be very nice if I could do it.
Yeah, I would love to see it live. So I guess like this leads me to my next, like something else that I've been thinking about. And then we have all the things we want to share. So I'll like stop asking you. But you were working on this collection of lovers, collection of artists. Can you talk about how that led to the collection of the Spectators, especially like the project that you're presenting right now at the CAC?
Yeah, so since the beginning of the collection of lovers, I collect the spectators. So in the middle of the show, the theater show, or in the exhibition that I did at the CAC, I asked to the spectators to be collected. In the lovers, I asked them to take a picture of the ephemeral moment that we are meeting in the show or in the exhibition. So in the last 6 years, because I have been doing the collection of lovers in the last 6 years, I have like 1,000 of pictures of spectators. They send me the pictures by email. And a lot of pictures come with the letters, with the musics, with videos, with the other archives, right? With other links. Then I did the collection of collectors, and in the middle of the show, I asked to the spectators to give me an object they have with them in that moment. If I can keep that object with me, so I will archive, I will capture that performance in that night. So until now, I have 254 objects of spectators. Then I collect the artists, and in the performance of the collection of artists, I ask to the spectators, just one per night. I ask one spectator to come on stage and to tell me an artistic event that was transformative in their lives. And I write down that story. And now, so I have been collecting the spectators of the collections in the last 6 years. So now I have this collection of my spectators from the collections that I did, but I want to collect more spectators, not just the spectators of the collection of people. Yeah. So first I'm doing this digital work is this website, collectionofspectators.com. And I already launched 7 instructions. And in this week, I'm launching another 7 instructions with the CAC. So the people that are here with us, you can participate in these instructions too. And here I open this question, what is to be a spectator? Because for me, maybe we are not just spectator of an artistic event, but for me, it's to be a spectator is to be a spectator of the here and now, what we are watching right now, what we are listening, what we are feeling, to be a spectator of the other. So these instructions, it goes in that direction, to be a spectator in a big sense. Mm-hmm. And then I will do this Festival of Spectators on Sunday. Is the second edition of this festival, where I asked the spectators to share artistic events that was transformative in their lives. And then in July of this year, I will do a theater show about collection of spectators.
I'm really excited. I've been like following the questions, and you do something so interesting with your work. Like, we sometimes think of spectators of passive, like especially if you're thinking about going to a museum, like the paintings are on the wall, and we are like passively consuming this work of art, which I would argue actually would never passive, but we think of sometimes as like spectators as passive. And you're doing something really interesting where like you're activating the spectator by asking him to do something for you. So you're asking them, you know, to sing you a song or like to tell you where you met. And why do you think this gesture and exchange is important for your work? Like activating the spectator instead of allowing them to just sort of consume or to spectate the work that you're making?
Yes, because I think we need a big change in this relation with spectators, because I think we are all spectators in the same way that I think we are all artists too. Of course, the artist could be professional on that, but I think this gap between spectators and artists, it have a lot of problems. And I think the institutions and a lot of artists too creates this problem, or maybe we could start changing this relation. Like, I came from theater, and I think in the architecture of a theater it's very clear. You have the artists on stage, like on the power, and then that know the truth. It's like the artists that are on stage, it seems that we know everything, we know what we are talking about. And then we put the spectator in a place that they are just receiving, they are just, yes, okay, or no, I don't agree, or yes, I agree. And I really want to work about this invisible barrier, this invisible line between artists and spectators, because I think that the artists, we don't know nothing too. we just have questions, and we just bringing that questions. And I think a work of art, the end of the work of art, it's not in the artist, but in the dialogue with the spectator. The end, it's not just in one side, it is here in this relation. And I think we should work on that. And me as an artist, I think I should to work on that. It's like an urgency for me, because I feel, I don't know how you feel it in USA, but like in Portugal and in Europe, we have this relation with spectators as we are the truth. We know what we are talking. And in the spaces, we have these kind of relations. And normally, like in Portugal, we are hearing that we have a problem of spectators. We don't have spectators. And now with COVID, it's very hard. But my thing is, what me as an artist, what I should do, how I could communicate with the spectator. And yes, maybe not romanticize so much to be an artist. Sometimes I think we romanticize it a lot. And it's very precarious, and it seems that the artists like to be precarious too. So how we could start dialoguing more and to understand that we are all together on this, or we should do. I don't know if I'm being clear. My English is not perfect, so I'm trying to explain my best.
You're doing amazing.
Hey, Lorena.
The role of an artist. Oh no. Can you hear me okay now?
Now, yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, what I find interesting is that like you're blurring the line between the role of an artist and an spectator. Like you're making the spectator or the artist by asking them to perform for you or do something for you. So like, and I think that's what I find really interesting in the work. And because I am always thinking about the spectator and in my practice, but I'm always thinking about it as I'm talking about stories about oppression and trauma and so like I'm always thinking about like how I'm thinking the spectator as like witness of the pain of others, and I'm thinking about like I'm asking them to sort of think about their roles in society. I'm asking them to think about how they're complicit of the pain of others. Like all of us are complicit in some ways or others. So I'm always like thinking like I'm really interested in this idea of spectator and like artists and where those two things sort of like they sort of come together or they have a conversation. I have lots of questions for you, but like we talked about, we want to share some things with the audience, and like we wanted to share experiences of art that really have moved us when we were spectators, like that art moved us, either music or like books or so. Raquel, do you want to share yours first? Do you want to start with yours?
Yes, we can do like one and another. What do you think? Like a dialogue, a ping pong.
That sounds great.
So I asked to Lorena for this collection of spectators. Is something that I'm asking to a lot of people in different ways. Is artistic event that was transformative in your lives. So for this conversation, I asked that to Lorena, and I prepared some events that were transformative in my life too. So I was remembering my first, because of this pandemic situation now that we can't be close to other people. I just got this memory when I went to my first concert alive, that I already talked that with Lorena. It was in Lisbon, in a big, like the biggest auditorium in Portugal, and it was Radiohead. And I was just 14 years old. It was 20 years ago. And I just remember the first time that I listened, and it's something as an artist too, not just as a spectator, but as an artist, I always be very jealous of music, of musicians, because I never, like in theater, I will never have like 3,000 of people singing my song together, you know, like I will never have it. Even if I will be like a big theater director, I will never have it. I think it's something just in music you can have, like to have 1 million of people knowing your song, the letter that you wrote, and the music. So I just got this memory when I listened, like 1,000 of people, I don't know how many people were there, singing the same music together. And I think this is a body sensation, you know, like having 1,000 of people knowing a song and singing it together. And I found a video on the internet of that day. I will put it here in Lisbon. So here, Tom York singing in Lisbon. I want just to show you this story. Yes, the sound is not so good, so I just for you to have a sensation. It was in 2002, so it was 20 years ago, and I never will forget it. And it's something that's I'm missing it to go to music, to go to concerts alive. I really like it, the feeling of being with a lot of people that, you know, when you go to a concert that the people really want to see that musician. Mm-hmm. So it's like the feeling that all of these people are here because of this music, of these artistic events. And at Radiohead, it was like a big reference for me of music when I was a teenager. So it was my first concert that my father allowed me to go with some friends. So it's something that I will never forget.
I've seen Radiohead live as well, and it was like a very like kind of spiritual experience just because Tom York has this like amazing voice. And it's funny that you brought your first concert because I brought my first concert as well. And the reason why I'm sharing, and I won't share, like I'll share the video, but I won't share the sound. But the reason why I thought about this piece was because one, it was also my first concert. I was 7. It was Ricky Martin, and it was 1992. Like the peace treaty of the war had just been signed, so we just gotten out of a war that lasted 12 years, and then Ricky Martin comes into this fair, and it's just crowded, and it was my first time being aware of my body as an spectator in relationship to other spectators. Like it wasn't just me watching this person, but it was like me in relationship to others. And I just want to show you because what I remember about this video, about this performance, is that Ricky Martin was wearing this see-through vest. Like he was like not wearing a shirt, and he's just wearing this see-through vest. But I found the video where he's wearing this. Let me share it to you.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's interesting to think about, like, also not just my experience as a spectator of music, but also like sort of understanding why people were freaking out about this performance. And like, and I guess I could show you just, but he grabs the Salvadorian flag and he like kisses it, and he's like sort of dancing really sexy. I can just.
Wow.
And he's just like moving around the stage, and there's something about like not being just a spectator of this performance, but also like sort of understanding like a little bit of sexuality, like seeing like this man just like dancing really sexy on the stage, and like women like freaking out about it, and like but also and I shared it, and also went to this concert with my mother, and then she took me. She thought it was an appropriate thing to take me at 7 years old. But it was like, I think about this moment a lot as like just being in this room, just huge concert after a war, and just like this sort of like moment of like potential, or like this moment of like just I don't know, peace, that which we hadn't had in a really long time.
Yeah, that is amazing, Lorena. I'm on this work right now, and I think we can tell the stories of our lives through artistic events. Mm-hmm. You know, like not just the event itself, but in the moment that you were, you know, like not just about the artist or the work of art, but where you were, mm-hmm. and how you can put it in like in a map in your lifetime, you know. And I really like that, because I think all of us, we have it as a spectator. Like it's I really like that sharing. I have another one. It
Yes,
was
please.
more recent. It's more recent. It was at a dance show that I saw in Orléans, in the north of France. It's from Fille Menard, and she's a great artist, amazing her works. But this piece, I saw it and I just cried, and at the end I was with two friends and that normally work with me, Antonio and Bernardo. We were three of us in Cincinnati, and we were like just shocked because she worked about the patriarchy with dancers on stage, and they don't speak. It's just a dance, but it was everything there. I have some images to share with you too. And I thought this to share with you too, because I think, I don't know, maybe you could like it, about trauma, about rituals too. So they, at the end, they they fall over all the stage, like the house. Yeah. It seems like your home, the patriarchy home, they just got it down. So it were 7 women, 7 performers on stage. In the first part, it was very ritual. They were dancing, and they were dancing the traumas, and they were dancing and expressing some men expressions in their bodies. And the second part, they wore the clothes of men's archetypes of men, like the footballists, the police guy, the politic. And they spend like, I don't know, half an hour marching, it's the name, marching, and do the gestures of the patriarchy. And at the end, they just put the house down. It was like a catharsis as a spectator. It was amazing. I think I will never forget it, as the experience of watching that. It was not just I feel that I was part of that ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's amazing when you are in the work that you have the stage and the audience, but you feel that you are in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious as an artist how you do it, how you could cut this relation that is so fixed, how you can create that relation that we are all together in the same room and not in separate places. And they never talk with us. It's not about to talk, but it was a ritual that I got in. I was there with them, so it was amazing.
I think you're like definitely you're doing that with your work right now, like this idea of like this blurring of the line, and like and you do something really interesting with language that I've noticed, that like you're talking directly to the viewer. Like I feel like you're talking to me, but actually me, like not just the viewer. And this sort of directness and there's this intimacy that I think like sort of blurs the line between like artist and spectator, especially by asking us to do something for you. But we're not really communicating. We're giving you a gift without knowing each other. But we feel like we know you because of the sort of intimacy in your language. And I noticed that in your work and like through, you know, like through the all 4 collections. And the thing about that performance, you just show that it's so stark white. It starts very minimalistic because it's very white, and but the people are painted over, and then you know then like the sort of destruction of the stage sort of even removes another layer of the of between performer and artist, because like the stage has actually been removed. And I actually have one, and maybe we can, this could be, I have another question I want to ask you, but I have one performance that relates to this idea that we were talking about. And I'm sorry, trying to get out Ricky Martin, but it's not letting me.
I will just close my window because of the attractor, like the car of the farmer here.
Okay. So I'll wait till you get back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. I wanted to talk about this piece that was actually from the This Time Tomorrow Performance Festival in 2019, and it's called Serpentine, and it was done by Diana Ashby, but it was performed by Areli Moran. And this performance, they don't show you much in this video, but you go into this room, and Areli Moran is like, it's nude, and the stage is oiled up, and that maybe I don't know why it's not sharing it. The stage is oiled up, she's oiled up, and she's like creating, and there's this like electric organ that is happening in the stage, and her movement goes from really gentle, and I'm sorry, I don't know, maybe we could just see this. The movement goes from very gentle to very violent, and people are sitting on the floor or they're sitting on the stage, and there's this, and each beginning to end from the stage, she moves from the beginning to the end of the stage. It takes about 30 minutes, and sometimes she does that until she gets really tired, and it goes really violent at sometimes. And you're sitting really close to her, and you feel it because she's the only one performing on the stage, and you feel her body like slamming into the floor. And because like you hear like the hit of the skin next to this floor. And it was my first time that I think about this performance all the time, because I felt so complicit of her pain. Like I wanted to stop it. Like I wanted to stop her from hitting herself. I felt complicit of watching hurting herself. And I was so close to her, like, because we were also really close to stage. And then every time she would like finish up, she would, I'm sorry, I don't know why this is not working. Every time she would finish, she would fix her braid and do it all over again. And then she would do it again, and then we'll fix her braid and do it all over again. And after each rendition, like people would leave, and you're sort of you're like really questioning yourself, like, do I stay? Do I go? Like, how do I deal with this like very painful thing that you're watching? And sorry, how do you deal with this? And it made me really think about like what I do to the viewer, because a lot of the things that I do with the viewers, I create these really uncomfortable sometimes situations for them to question their roles as witness or as spectators. And it was the first time that I sort of like that was done to me, and I just like hated all of it, just because I just wanted I wanted to care for her. I wanted her to not be hurt, and I felt really complicit in watching this. And I think about this performance all the time, and just like the intimacy of it, the violence of it, like how I felt, like seeing people leave, seeing people cover their eyes, seeing people respond with their bodies. And it was just like this negotiation that was happening between the spectators and me and other spectators. Because if you saw somebody leave, they will leave, and you're like, maybe I can leave, because you see people leave, and it almost gives you permission. And I thought, like, I think about this performance all the time. So good job, Drew, for bringing that here.
Yes, true. But I just about that, to be witness of the pain, because I already saw some performance that I have the same feeling that I want to do something. And my question is, why, as a spectator, I don't do nothing? Why I don't go there? Why you didn't went there and to hug her?
Yeah.
You know, because we put the artist in a place that he knows or she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
and I can ask you a question about that, and I know that Shani has questions as well.
yeah.
But like, what do you think is the responsibility of a spectator? Like, what do you think makes a good spectator, or how do you think that we're flawed as spectators?
Yes, I really don't know the answer. What is the? I'm reading a book. It's not here. The name is The Perfect Spectator. What is this responsibility of a perfect spectator? What the spectator should do? But maybe I have the same question for an artist. What is the perfect artist nowadays? You know, where we are as an artist, what we are doing, what we want to share. How we communicate with spectators, how we are in this world right now, because yeah, I think as the artists we have more responsibility than the spectators. Or if we change that, maybe the relation could change, because I think it was the artists and the institutions that we create this place that it's supposed that we know everything. We know the truth. We know what we are doing. And maybe we don't know. And maybe creating it's that is searching. We don't know. So we need the spectator. We need this dialogue for having the end, having the experience. I think the spectator gives to the work of art the experience, give the life of the work of art, give it an end, and maybe the responsibility for me of a spectator and me as a spectator too is to be available for that, to give the experience of what I'm seeing. And in that case, if I'm watching pain, why I don't do something if my body is asking for that?
Yeah.
And I really don't know why I don't do it.
And I think it has to do with like the hierarchies that institutions like build, and like even artists build, because like the stage was on the floor. There wasn't actually a stage. The stage was like a tarp, you know? It was a tarp.
Yeah.
We were sitting in the same level as the artist. But something about like the institution or like the artist, this sort of relationship that is this sort of line, made me feel like my responsibility actually was to stay and watch the whole thing, to sort of honor her experience and to honor like her work. And it made me really, like, it froze me. Like I was like, oh, you're not supposed to stop this. This is a thing that is happening, and you're supposed to like watch.
I had recently, like 1 year ago, I saw a performance that I spent all the performance like this, covering my eyes, because I can't see that. It was so violent for me, with cuts and fire in the body and things in the noise. and I'm very like a princess. It's very hard for me to see it blood and things, and I spent like 1 hour like this, just suffering. And I didn't leave. I didn't said anything. A lot of people were like me, and why?
Yeah.
That actually was what you just talked about was where I was going to jump in with a question, because in my experience with both of your works, I have felt very much like I was intimately involved in that process. And I think that it's interesting that both of you really want to bring the spectator in and make them feel a part. So just listening to the way you reacted and how you felt like you needed to jump in gave me insight into that, you know, like drive for you as an artist, you know, because maybe it's something you're missing out on, because I've had the same type of reactions when I've seen artists work, and I am so emotionally wrought, you know, with, you know, what's happening, that I just want to engage. And I think sometimes that engagement is, you know, is it okay? You know, and you also don't want to overstep any weird boundaries. I wonder, because, and I'll just open this up to both of you, how has COVID and separation really impacted your work? Because both of you do rely very much on the idea of a spectator, especially with, for instance, the collection of Spectators.
It had been so hard. It had, yes, it had both sides. It had negative things, and it had positive things too. Like in the last, in 2018 and 2019, we did like 32 cities in the world, traveling and collecting people in each city. So when in 2020, I went to Peru, in Chile, and I collect people there. And then in March, everything was canceled. It was very hard in financial perspectives too. In Portugal, we didn't have supports for the artists and to my team too, not just for me. I don't want to work alone. But in the perspective of as a creator, I just found other tools, and creating this digital first part of collection of Spectator, it was amazing. It has been amazing. Like the website with the instructions, we receive beautiful things, and the communication. Sometimes it's not so easy because, of course, now the digital is completely full of information. And the people that are working from home are very tired of this. But at least we receive some nice things, and it's feel that one day I received one of the instruction of a spectator, and I start crying, because for me to imagine someone that I don't know in their home doing something to put here in the website, it was like very powerful for me to imagine that meeting through this. We had been some workshops, and it was supposed to do it alive, but we did it online via Zoom. So it was like, for me, how we will do online workshops, you know, like theater workshops online. But it was amazing, because I think you already talked about that we are in our homes, in our intimacies. We have our kids, our pets, our books, our smell of home, our foods. So, and for me, in this project, a collection of people that I want to meet people, I want to meet their stories, and I love to go to the people's houses through this project too. I'm very curious about the intimacy of the house, of the home of each people. So the Zoom, this digital thing, it gives me this possibility So when I ask to someone to share something, they are in their intimacies. They have the book, they have the objects to share me, and they are more open for that. So yes, in that perspective, it was amazing, because for me, it was another way to go to someone's house through this window.
That's great. Can you take a moment? I don't know how many of the audience has noticed, but on the CAC social media, there have been prompts for spectators. Can you explain that a little bit so everyone can maybe participate?
Yes, maybe I can share the screen. So for a minute to share the website, and I can do a travel with you of this website. So the collection of spectators.com. If you go there, you have some instructions, like the first one is show me who you are. And if you click here to participate, you can participate. So show me who you are. I ask a picture of you and the sound record of 30 seconds audio of you. And then you could submit here, and I will, and then I'm creating this archive, this gallery, where you can see all the people that already sent it. And if you click, you see the picture, and then here you can listen the sound. And in each instruction, you have the same, follow these steps, you can participate, and then you can see what the other spectators sent. And each day, like today, 7 April, I launched this instruction, take me to a show. And this instruction, you have to spend like, I think it's 7 minutes, listen, like it seems like a meditation. You can listen, my voice guiding you to a show, but I don't know which each show it is. So here, and I will start asking you some questions about that show. So it could be something that you never saw, or something that you already saw it and you can write it. And here you have the 10 questions that I do in the audio, and you can answer it. So this is the instructions, and until Sunday, I will launch more instructions, one per day. And on Sunday, we will do the Spectators Festival that I invite you to see, to watch it. But more than, we have these new 7 instructions of this week, but I already have 7 instructions that I launched in November last year. And you can still participate on those too. Ask a question and find an answer, write a manifesto, tell me how are you. So you can be here and visit the website, and it will be amazing if you could, and if you want to participate.
Great. Lorena, would you like to talk about how COVID has kind of altered your practice at all?
Yeah, it's done a few things. Like, to me, I used it as this opportunity to just for introspection, trying to figure out like who I am as an artist right now, like what type of work am I making, who am I making work for. Like, it's been a lot of just sort of like trying to figure out like my practice. So I think like that's a really important role of an artist, to be constantly like questioning your art and like who are you making it for and why you're making it. And the other part is like I'm working right now on an exhibition, an installation piece with a sound piece as well, that is going to travel to 4 museums. And I've been sort of thinking about like, how do I create the sort of rituals, or how do I create an experience with the beer where I can't like, like we can't be with each other in the space. So I'm creating this very large installation with like plants, and it's about the history of El Salvador in relationship to US imperialism. And I have the sound piece, like when Raquel was saying like a meditation, I am thinking about sound, because I'm thinking, how can I sort of activate this space? How can I guide the viewer without me in there? And there's like the sound piece where I'm sort of asking them to sort of reflect about themselves in relationship to coffee, in relationship to El Salvador, and I'm sort of guiding them. So it's been both like a challenge, and and it's also, there's a lot of suffering. We've had a lot of like pain and trauma during this past year. So also allowing like space for me to sort of like, be with that, because I think like capitalism makes us to like keep working, and not sort of process like the trauma that is happening in the world right now. But also like I see it as an opportunity as well to sort of reshape my practice and see what is Lorena's work right now. And it's been like a good challenge to sort of try to figure out, how do I still create the sort of like intimacy and sort of connection with the beer without me being in that space.
Thank you. I appreciate both of you answering that question. I know when you're talking about the trauma of this year and this idea of keep pushing, I just have to nod my head, because as I reflect, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like I got through it by just burying my head and working. And at the time, didn't really give myself a lot of time to think, but I think I'm in that mode now. Thank you both for such a wonderful conversation. That was a lot of fun to listen to, a wonderful break to my day, even though I'm technically at work. And I'm sure our audience really enjoyed themselves as well. I want to invite you all back here again tomorrow for a conversation between Begum, and I'm probably mispronouncing it, Ercias, and Emily Hanako Momahara for our next Goethe Institute. But just so you all know, there are still tickets for shows today. So if you want to see Begum's performance, Letters from Attica, at 2 o'clock at Sawyer Point, there are still tickets. And we also have tickets throughout the night for Kate McIntosh's work table. So visit the CAC website. Thank you all, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Lorena. I love our meeting. Chin chin.
Cheers. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.